Hello YouTube, this is the Nerabin, and today I want to talk to you about Aventuria, um, the continent on which the main setting for the Dark Eye is set, and I'm using Roll20, a virtual tabletop, for this purpose. I could have used any other uh, image processing tool or some such, but I wanted to use this. Also, maybe you find a better connection with it as it's something for role playing. So maybe I firstly talk a bit about the rough shape and the rough distinguishing climate zones. Um, in the north, of course, we have the cold areas, which from here on we have everlasting ice. Here we see a lot of water, but it's actually almost always frozen. Here we have the brazen sword, mountain chain that blocks off the other part of this continent, or rather another continent called the Land of the Giants, which is a rather mystical place where no Aventurian so far has gone and returned. At least that's the myth. There's actually this continent is actually left free by the publishers, and there is quite a big project of fans that develop this continent. Yeah, as I said, from north of here we have mostly frozen places, and there's mostly barbarian and nomadic types living up here, a couple of orcs. And here we have the so-called Yeti Land, which is a small island in the everlasting ice where apparently Yetis live, but that's another myth in itself. Then here below this we start getting forests where the land of the elves, or the traditional land of the elves, are found. The Foundland, or Bornland in German, which is a region that's based on Poland and Russia under the Tsars. Even though the political makeup of this country is quite different, as it's sort of a democracy where every noble gets a voice in the Council of Nobles, and they elect the marshal of the land. And as everyone who is sired by at least one noble parent is a noble, as far as the law is concerned, they have quite a lot of nobles, and I believe by now it's roughly 1/3 of the population belongs to the nobility. So over time the Foundland will become a true democracy, which is of some concern to some, because democracy is viewed upon as rather ungodly in this world, and something almost as damnable as any, well, as one of the most heinous crimes is plotting for democracy, which of course in a world where monarchs rule mostly is understandable from their point of view. Let's go to the other side of the continent. Here we have the Auckland, which looks rather like the crater of a comet, come to look at it. This is mostly I don't know, steppe no, steppe is the wrong, tundra. This is a large tundra where the orcs live, a harsh land which formed the barbaric nomadic culture. But I won't talk too much about orcs, as most humans don't know much more than that they have black fur, and when you see them, you're more than likely dead. Maybe. Here we have the lands of Thorvalians, but these Viking-like people I will describe a bit later. In this region we have mostly the Middle Realm, or the Rausch Empire, or the New Empire, which is the most important political faction at the moment. Here we have the Horasian Empire, which is small. Oh no, here we have the Horasian Empire, which is the most scientifically advanced nation on the continent, and is almost in sort of the Renaissance or the late Renaissance period, where they are developing the equivalent of muskets without gunpowder. Here we have sort of an Arabian terrain, Manadistan it is called, due to the river Manadi, which brings most of the life to the place. And actually this is one of the most fruitful areas on the whole continent. And there are a lot of different countries here, a lot of different city-states. I won't go into detail right now. Here we have the island of Maraskan, which by some people is cursed, others call it the banned land, where the lizard men and crocodile people have been exiled to. To some it's the most poisonous place on the whole of Dera, the planet, and to others it's the most beautiful place of all, and it is where the gaze of a god will first fall when he receives the gift that is the disc of Dera from his brother. But that is another story for when we go into details. Here we have the largest desert of the continent, which is the Desert Comb, where the Novadi people live. Nomads, tribal people who have their very own religion in or a monotheistic religion, which is rather unique, as mostly there's at least kind of a pantheon, or at least two gods. And they have expanded ever since the emergence of this god. I believe it's by now 270 years or some such in the past. And here we have the swamps of the lizard people, where the last remaining, or rather here, and here, we have places where the last remaining centers of lizard culture can be found. Also, I will go into detail later. Here, these mountain chains in the Middle Realm are the most prominent homes, also here and later on here, are the homes of the Aventurian dwarfs, who are in a way all members or citizens of the new empire, with the exception of a few who are part of the Eurasian Empire. Also detailed at a later time. And below from this line on we have just city-states here, all of whom try to be the most, or rather have the tendency to be viewed as rather lawless by the northern states, rather dark, and due to the prevalence of the Church of Boron, the god of death, in a particular form that is shunned upon by the northern states. And these cities are the refuge that many people who are not welcome anymore in the north take for residence. These you're very free in these city-states, but also this, of course, they harbor many fugitives and evil wizards and such like due to these reasons. Also, the jungles in this region house the indigenous people, or one of the indigenous people of this continent. The by the civilized people, they are called Moha, which is actually just one of the tribes, the Mohaha, and there are, I believe it's 20 or some such tribes that have been designed so far. And there's actually a very interesting table for coming up with your own tribes and what kind of strangenesses in culture they have, but that's I will also tell you later about. And here we have the so-called forest islands, which basically are part of the southern region and are mostly for colonial stories. So that was a quick overview of Aventuria. In later videos I will use the zoom option. Oops. Yeah, the zoom. Why didn't it zoom? Now. The zoom option. And we will talk a bit about details about cities, about borders, and about single realms and so on. But for now, I am the Nerubin, and thank you for watching.